Justin to Kelly with Kelly Clarkson. Now, a couple years ago, Kelly Clarkson was in town to perform at the Town Toyota Center. But what most people don't know is that concert almost didn't happen. So earlier that day, Kelly gets up, puts on her yoga pants, sweatshirt, decides to take a jog around the loop trail. When she came back, around the backside of the building, we had a security guard posted back there. He almost didn't let her into the building because he didn't even recognize her. So she was so desperate to get in, she had to call out to one of her roadies to vouch for her, and they finally let her in. Thank goodness, because Kelly's concert was one of the most successful concerts in the Town Toyota Center. Here to tell us how she views being desperate, please welcome candidate Gabe Mercer.
It was the best of times, and it was the worst of times. I was just a wee little tyke, 2 years old to be exact, shredding down the ski hill. Well, actually attached to a training harness which my mom had a hold of. She says she remembers looking at my face as I went down the hill, and surprise, surprise, my eyes were closed. But you know what? I had the biggest little smile on my face. Why? Because I was content. I was going fast and enjoying the ride. When you think about it, life isn't about the destination or how fast I reach the bottom of the hill. It's all about the journey. I just wanted to feel it and do it. It didn't matter if I was scared. So that's how I view life, destination versus journey. And I am determined to make this life the best journey I have ever experienced. And here's what I plan on doing. I want to be desperate. I want to live my life being straightforward, and not in the sense of running around telling people, hey, that dress really does look bad. I want to live my life saying what I need to say and telling those that I love that I really do love them. So that's it. I'm going to be desperate. I'm going to send that message, say those words I've always wanted to say, and take a dive into the unknown. When I say desperate, I don't mean, oh my gosh, I'm so desperate for you to love me, please. I mean, desperate in a sense that the receiver is desperate to get that last touchdown, the attorney is desperate to win his case, and the elderly woman is desperate to live out the last days of her life to the fullest. When push comes to shove in life, you're forced to choose. Let your challenges overcome you, or choose to move on. At this point, you must choose what I call the desperate route. You've got to be desperate to put a smile on your face and make the most of the hand you are dealt. Instead of using your problems as a crutch, you must use them to push yourself forward. If you don't want to make the most of your life badly enough, then what are you doing? You've got to want something badly enough to actually get it. You've got to be desperate for it. Because one day, I may get hit by a bus. And no, I'm not one of those people who walks around saying, live your life to the fullest because one day you may get hit by a bus. But it's quite true. You never know when the end is near. You never know when it may be your last day. And you never know when that bus is coming your way. None of us want to get hurt, none of us want to throw ourselves out of our comfort zone, and we all have fears, and it's okay to have them, but it's not okay to let your fears define you. If I only lived once, I would take on every fear with desperate grace and act as if I didn't have a fear in the first place. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. This is here, and this is now, and this is our only chance. This is my chance to be desperate, to get that job, to change that person's life, to love with every ounce of my being. I am desperate to love. I am desperate to learn. I am desperate to succeed. I am desperate to become and to create. Life is similar to stepping on this stage. It's all about standing in front of a crowd, the world, and giving it everything you have. No, it's not an act. It's 100% yourself. It's your one shot, your one opportunity, your one chance. You must be desperate to make the most of it, because after that, it's all over. This isn't just a dress rehearsal. So step outside of your comfort zone. Smile at a stranger. Tell someone you love them. Be brave, be daring, and most of all, be desperate. Because after all, you only live once.
Kevin Bacon was in Cave Dweller with John Langford, who was in Johnny Cash's America with Loretta Lynn. Loretta Lynn lived life with no regrets. She's written over 160 songs, sold 45 million records, has 6 children, and 21 grandchildren. One of Loretta Lynn's granddaughters, Taylor, is married to Mayor Frank Kuntz's brother Mike's wife's son. Thankfully, we have a translation here. Frank's niece by marriage is Loretta Lynn's granddaughter. What that family tree must look like. Here to tell us about living her life with no regrets, please welcome candidate Olivia Janey.
Looking back on your life, is there anything that you regret? For most of us, we regret more the things that we do not do. 2 things that we can never get back in life are time and missed opportunities. We only live once, so it's important to make the most of the time that we have here. One of my favorite songs is Good to Be Alive by Jason Gray. In the song, Gray sings, I want to live like there's no tomorrow. Love like I'm on borrowed time. It's good to be alive. This is a perfect example of how life should be lived, living in the present moment, making the most out of our experiences, and showing compassion to everyone that we meet. Life is too short to sit back and wait for the perfect opportunity to present itself. Instead, we should seize each experience that we are given and make the best of it. I have learned from moving all around the country the value in courage and not being afraid of facing new experiences. Because of this, I have said yes to many opportunities in my life, which have led to many amazing experiences. Some of those experiences being attending LEAD, a Catholic Youth Leadership Conference, participating in my high school state track and field meet in the high jump, and being part of Apple Blossom, which has brought me here in front of you tonight. Along with our good experiences, we are unfortunately faced with bad ones as well. However, I believe that the bad experiences are given to us to teach us lessons that we could have learned in no other way. When I was in 8th grade, I had a severe stomach illness for 11 months, and I was unable to do most of my normal everyday activities. During this time, I met many others who were just as sick as I was, or were battling more severe illnesses than me, teaching me to look on the bright side because things could be worse. I was also surrounded by caring family, friends, doctors, and nurses who taught me that in life we cannot do everything alone. We need others to help us along the way. When my health returned, I was so grateful. It opened my eyes to seeing how blessed I am to be healthy and thankful for the opportunities that it provides me. I don't know how much longer I will be able to go experience all that life has to offer, but I do know it is important to take each experience that comes our way because one day the opportunity may be gone forever. As important as experiences are in our life, it is also important to, as Jason Gray says, love like we are on borrowed time and not waste another second. Our time here is limited and we should make the most out of it, seeking out the small opportunities where we can make a difference in other people's lives. As Saint Therese once said, the little things done with love are the ones that make the greatest difference, like making someone smile. Everyone enjoys a smile. I love seeing others smile when I reach out to help them, either by helping my mom out around the house, bringing candy to a friend who's having a hard time, or reading my little brother his favorite bedtime story. This is what life should be like, continually taking the time to give what we can to others and nurturing our relationships. These little moments will be what matter the most in the end. God has blessed me with this life that I only have one chance to live, and I want to take advantage of all the opportunities that I am blessed with. As Jason Gray's song ends, I won't take it for granted. I won't waste another second. All I want is to give you a life well lived and say thank you.
Kevin Bacon was in Crazy Stupid Love with Christian Petrie, who was in Bounty Killer with Gary Busey, who was in the 2013 movie Matt's Chance with none other than Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch plays for the world champion Seattle Seahawks. Going to the Super Bowl was a dream come true for one of the Seahawks wide receivers, number 19, Brian Walters. Brian is the nephew of Keith and Claudia Wiggins. He is Keith's sister's son and is dating Stacy Vanderhoff, who is 1996 Queen Jill Vanderhoff Sandness' sister. Here to tell us about making her dreams come true, please welcome candidate Rosalind Thompson.
The biggest dream I have ever had is to sing at Madison Square Garden in New York City. But you don't just go from singing a little tune in your car and testing the acoustics in your shower to a sold-out arena. So before taking on the other Big Apple of New York City, I decided I should probably start somewhere a little smaller, like the Wenatchee High School's annual talent show. My audition date for the show was set, and as I practiced and practiced leading up to the day, I was beyond nervous. This was my first shot at proving to myself that I even had the guts to perform for an audience. I knew that if I didn't break out of my comfort zone now, I might not ever do it, and my only other option was to hide behind fear. A motivational speaker once said that a dream is your creative vision for your life in the future. You must break out of your comfort zone and become comfortable with the unfamiliar and the unknown. Living life is all about living outside of your comfort zone. YOLO is about taking risks, doing things that scare us, and living life to the fullest. YOLO is the chance we get to live out our dreams. When my audition finally arrived, I walked into a room where 16 upperclassmen sat, staring and waiting to see what I would do. My music started, and as the Taylor Swift song played, I closed my eyes and let the music and my voice take control of my audition. When I found out I made the cut, I was still terrified. However, I knew this is exactly what it would take to break out of my comfort zone and to become a better performer. I was taking one step farther outside of my comfort zone and one step closer to Madison Square Garden. Over the past 4 years, I have continued to break the barriers of my comfort zone. Center stage has gone from being unfamiliar terrain to a place where I really get to shine. The spotlight has become something that defines who I am, a performer and entertainer. And don't get me wrong, I still get butterflies every time I get up on stage. But taking that first audition was exactly what I needed to start growing as a performer. In life, we have two options. The first is to play it safe, stay comfortable, and do what's easy. Or two, do what scares us and venture out on unknown terrain, facing challenges but growing, and knowing that we only have one shot at life. As for me, my choice is to YOLO, to jump outside my comfort zone, to take risks, to embrace the moments that put our stomach in knots, and to live to create the best version of myself that I can. So hopefully in a few years, I'll see you from the stage at Madison Square Garden.
Kevin Bacon was in Loverboy with Sandra Bullock, who was in The Blind Side with Tim McGraw. Country music legends Tim McGraw and his wife Faith Hill have an Orondo, Washington address. That's right, Tim and Faith own a house in Orondo. Here to tell us about how YOLO relates to music for her, please welcome candidate Madison Ransford.
Famous writer Joseph Campbell once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is simply being who you are." As I pondered the idea of what you only live once means to me, I considered what it means to other people. To some, it's encouragement to try something new, and for others, it's an excuse to make a hasty decision. Or for my grandfather, who I call Papa, it's buying a new fishing boat. But to me, it's about being who you are. When I first heard the speech topic, I instinctively recalled the well-known acronym YOLO. So, much like the song Love by Nat King Cole, Y is for the way I am youthful. O is for my outgoing nature, L is for my lengthy limbs, and the following O is for my optimism. Y is for youthful. Now, being youthful isn't exactly about a person's age or their body, but about their spirit. I once read something that said, sometimes you need to talk to a 3-year-old just so you can understand life again. And I wholeheartedly believe that. Working in a preschool has taught me many life lessons, including to never stop getting excited over the little things, never overlook a new opportunity, and never leave a preschooler with a bowl of glitter, because not even a Dyson can get glitter out of the carpet. O is for outgoing. Being outgoing has blessed me with friends of all ages, cultures, and lifestyles, and I have an honest interest in each one. I believe that everyone has something good in them to give to others, and whether it's a smile or a good job, I'm proud to make others feel good about themselves. For L, I thought of leader, and I thought of loving, but being lengthy has taught me an incredible amount about myself. I've always admired people who are petite and short, but eventually I discovered all the positives about being tall. I learned to accept myself, and it's given me wonderful feelings, like spiking the ball over the net in volleyball, making game-changing catches in softball, and how could I ever get tired of hearing, "Can you reach that for me?" The second O is for my optimism. Being optimistic is something that I treasure. There really is nothing like finding the good in something you thought was pretty lousy. Being optimistic makes it easy for me to encourage myself and the people around me that things always work out for the best, count your blessings, and of course, there are always plenty of fish in the sea. Being youthful, outgoing, lengthy, and optimistic make me who I am, and it is through those attributes that I've learned to live life to the fullest. How could I enjoy the simple pleasures in life without being youthful? Meet all the wonderful people I have without being outgoing. Reach the cup at the very top of the cupboard without my long arms. Or find the good in every day without my optimism. I enjoy who I am, and whether YOLO is a split-second decision or Papa's new fishing boat, you do only live once. So share the wonderful person you are with everyone, live life to the fullest, and let yourself shine.
Kevin Bacon was in Balto with Danny Mann, who was in Plains with Colin Coward. Colin Coward grew up in Westport, Washington, and babysat Wenatchee High School football coach Scott Devereaux, who also grew up in Westport. Apparently, Colin wasn't a very good babysitter. Scott Devereaux is married to Jennifer Devereaux, and Scott and members of the football team are in charge of security for the Grand Parade. He has been a part of the festival family ever since the year the dignitary car for the Misawa Sister City delegation broke down at the Grand Parade. At the last minute, he found a pickup truck, but the Misawa mayor's wife couldn't get in. Her kimono wouldn't let her step up that high. So, what does Scott do? He just scoops her up and throws her into the back of the truck. So, Scott learned very shortly after that that's a definite no-no in Japanese culture. Here to talk about the importance of family and relationships in her life, please welcome candidate Emily Millard.
My new purple butterfly lunchbox sat on my lap as I hummed to the radio. My backpack was filled with paper, crayons, and stencils. Everything a 5-year-old would need on her first day of kindergarten. I glanced out the car window as we pulled up to the school building. Excitement overwhelmed me as I hopped out of the car. When I entered my classroom, I couldn't wait to find my very own desk and set up shop. Little did I know that disaster had just struck the East Coast, and when I returned home, news reports would show the unthinkable. Confusion collided with reality as I went from listening to Bible stories and watching finger puppets to hearing frantic voices and seeing 2 towers collapse into a cloud of dust. On September 11th, 2001, hijackers turned a 5-year-old's carefree day into a terrible tragedy. For me, this event would come to symbolize my need to live each day to the fullest. Most of us will never experience such a devastating catastrophe as this, but we all have daily hijackers that try and seize the controls of our minds. Fear, worry, and anxiety kill our joy, our confidence, and our sense of worth and purpose in the world. The what-if uncertainties of life can overshadow the beauty around us. Many of us go through life listening to and following the negative thoughts that would steer our lives off course, instead of silencing those voices and following our ambitions. There was a third plane that day. This one was headed for the White House. One man on board decided he wasn't going to let the hijackers control the plane. He stormed the cockpit and forced the aircraft into a field, saving hundreds of people and our nation's capital. He was a hero. A couple years ago, I had the chance to travel to New York City and Washington, D.C. I stood at Ground Zero and in front of the White House. Tears flowed down my cheeks as I gazed up at the partially completed Freedom Tower, recalling that day when I was in kindergarten. It's a vital reminder to me that I can either take control of my thoughts or let the mental hijackers take over. I can either give my life to others or allow the negative thoughts in my head to limit my potential and the good I can offer the world. British philosopher James Allen once said, "You are where your thoughts have brought you." Where have your thoughts brought you? Do they lead you to fear, or do they lead you to freedom? I want to take control of my thoughts so that my one life can make a difference in the world. We only live once, so let's set our minds on what is true and right and honorable. Then we can savor life and make the most out of every moment.
Let's hear it again for our amazing candidates. The cities of East Wenatchee and Wenatchee provide a tremendous amount of support for all aspects of the festival. Back in the good old days, one person was the sheriff, banker, justice of the peace, and more. Today, they get to be just the mayor. Please welcome East Wenatchee Mayor Steve Lacey and Wenatchee Mayor Frank Kuntz.
We are also honored to have with us here tonight representatives from the Eastmont and Wenatchee school districts, where our top 10 candidates attend school. Representing the Eastmont School District, please welcome Executive Director of Human Resources Vicki Traynor and Executive and Wenatchee School District Superintendent Brian Flonez. Vicki and Brian have spent the entire day watching over the judging process. And let's also welcome from Wenatchee High School, Principal Bob Celebrezzi, and from Eastmont High School, Principal Lance Noel, and from the River Academy, Secondary Principal Scott Bonander.
I would now like to welcome 4 of the remaining 7 top 10 candidates from 2013 who are no strangers to this rodeo. These ladies have firsthand experience of what our current candidates are going through. Please welcome Laurel Jones, Lauren Williamson, Carly Robbins, and Scarlett Graham.
Many members of the Apple Blossom Festival's past royalty are also here tonight. Let's welcome these rhinestone cowgirls as they stand before their loyal subjects.
There are so many young country artists out there today, but we have some pretty amazing talent in our neck of the woods. Please welcome the musical trio of Wenatchee High School's Marin Riles, Carly Kuntz, and Olivia Passmore, accompanied on guitar by Christian Lundeen, as we take a look back at how our candidates have grown up over the years.
Who doesn't know what I'm talking about? Who's never left home? Who's never struck out to find a dream in a life of their own? A place in the clouds, a foundation of stone. Many precede and many will follow. A young girl's dream no longer hollow. It takes the shape of a place out west, but what it holds for her, she hasn't guessed yet. She needs wide open spaces, room to make big mistakes. She needs new faces. She knows the high stakes. She traveled this road as a child, wide-eyed and grinning, she never tired. But now she won't be coming back with the rest. If these are life's lessons, she'll take this test. She needs wide open spaces, room to make big mistakes. She needs new faces. She knows the high stakes. She knows the high stakes. As her folks drive away, her dad yells, "Check the oil." Mom stares out the window and says, "I'm leaving my girl." She said it didn't seem like that long ago, when she stood there and let her own folks know she needed wide open spaces, room to make big mistakes. She needs new faces. She knows the high stakes. She knows the high stakes. She knows the highest stakes. She knows the high stakes. She knows the highest stakes.
What a great video of our candidates.
Anthony, you really do look great tonight. Where did you get that tux?
Why, thank you, Amber. My tux is actually from Anna's Creations, and they also provided the tuxes for our 10 escorts tonight as well. You look pretty good yourself. Who are you wearing?
Bella Sarah provided my gown. You like?
I do. Let's also give a rootin' tootin' round of applause to both Anna's Creations and Bella Sarah.
Next, our candidates will answer their impromptu question. This question requires an unrehearsed response, showing each candidate's ability to think on her feet, another aspect of the judging process. During this part of the program, the candidates will be wearing formal gowns they personally selected. Anthony will be asking each of the candidates the same question. The remaining candidates will be kept in a soundproof room waiting for their turn. The candidates will be escorted by 5 gentlemen from Wenatchee High School and 5 gentlemen from Eastmont High School, who you will recognize from our opening number. Please welcome our first candidate, Caroline Dahl. Caroline is the daughter of Jim and Brenda Dahl. After graduation, Caroline plans to attend a 4-year university, followed by medical school, as she would like to become a dermatologist. Caroline has 1 brother and 1 sister and is escorted tonight by Kyler Cox. Ladies and gentlemen, candidate Caroline Dahl.
Caroline, which of your high school classes or activities has had the greatest impact on you and why?
The high school activity that has had the greatest impact on me is yearbook, because I feel like I've learned a lot through that, how to manage my time, and it's taught me how to take great pictures.
What famous person would you like to meet and why?
I would love to meet Morgan Freeman so I could hear his beautiful voice in person.
Caroline, here's your impromptu question. Caroline's impromptu question is, if Seattle Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll came to our community next week and you were his tour guide, what location would you take him to first and why?
I would take him to my home, which is on the Columbia River, so we could have some of my mom's great cooking and we could enjoy the view of the river, but I can't say boating because it's way too cold out to go boating.
Thank you, Caroline. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Caroline Dahl.
Let's welcome our next candidate, Nakara Morgan. Nakara is the daughter of Patty Blessing and Jeremy Morgan. After graduation, Nakara plans to double major in business and communications. Nakara is escorted tonight by Nick Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, candidate Nakara Morgan.
Nakara, which of your high school classes or activities has had the greatest impact on you and why?
I feel the greatest activity that I've participated in high school that has had the greatest impact on my life is DECA, which is my business marketing club at my school. Through the club, I have not only learned about business, but also about hard work, determination, and that if you work really hard for something, you can achieve great things.
What famous person would you like to meet and why?
I would love to meet Audrey Hepburn because I think she is an amazing female role model. She was an iconic actress, obviously, but she was also a great humanitarian. She worked very closely with the UNICEF Foundation, and she is someone who I greatly admire.
Nakara, here's your impromptu question. Nakara's impromptu question is, if Seattle Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll came to our community next week and you were his tour guide, what location would you take him to first and why?
The first place I would take Pete Carroll is up a hike on Saddle Rock because I feel the view of Saddle Rock is the most beautiful view of our community and the best way to show how beautiful and wonderful our town is.
Thank you, Nakara.
Martinez. After graduation, Lupe plans to attend Wenatchee Valley College for 2 years, then transfer to university and become a lawyer or an orthodontist. Lupe has 3 sisters and 1 brother and is escorted tonight by Jeremy Van Ashie. Ladies and gentlemen, candidate Lupe Martinez.
Lupe, which of your high school classes or activities has had the greatest impact on you and why?
The class that has had the greatest impact on my life is French. French has had a big impact on my life because of my amazing teacher that I have, Mr. Magnus. He's a very inspiring person who does not stop motivating me every day to do my best.
Which famous person would you like to meet and why?
I would love to meet Chris Brown. I know he does not have a very good background, but I love his music and I would really like to meet him.
Lupe, here's your impromptu question. Lupe's impromptu question is if Seattle Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll came to our community next week and you were his tour guide, what location would you take him to first and why?
I would take him to Saddle Rock. I would take him to that place because it's an amazing place to be at on your first time, especially if you've never been in Wenatchee. It's a great place to go so that you can see the amazing city that lies when you are up there and you see down there.
Thank you, Lupe. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Lupe Martinez.
Please welcome our next candidate, Katie Hoig. Katie is the daughter of Steve and Patty Hoig. After graduation, Katie plans to get her master's degree in international studies, join the Peace Corps, then apply to work for the CIA. Katie has one sister and is escorted today by C.J. Waterman. Ladies and gentlemen, candidate Katie Hoig.
Katie, which of your high school classes or activities has had the greatest impact on you and why?
I would say that being a part of band has had the greatest impact on me because I've been in it since 5th grade, and just the kind of bond you form with the people in band, it's like a family, and it's just so much fun.
What famous person would you like to meet and why?
Oh, that's a good one. If I could meet a famous person, I would probably want to meet Michelle Obama because she's an extremely influential woman, and I would love to ask her about how she just remains so confident in everything she does.
Katie, here's your impromptu question. Katie's impromptu question is if Seattle Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll came to our community next week and you were his tour guide, what location would you take him first and why?
I would probably take him first to the top of Saddle Rock, and then I would ask him to point to a place that he wanted to go to that I thought looked really cool, and then I would take him there second.
Thank you, Katie. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Katie Hoig.
Please welcome our next candidate, Amber Frodsham. Amber is the daughter of Stephen and Tiffany Frodsham. After graduation, Amber plans to attend a 4-year university to get her law degree. Amber has one brother and one sister and is escorted tonight by Spencer Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, candidate Amber Frodsham.
Amber, which of your high school classes or activities has had the greatest impact on you and why?
That would definitely be being a part of the high school senate. I was in the senate for 3 years and we planned out all the activities, all the dances, all the games, and it was great being a part of the school.
What famous person would you like to meet and why?
I would definitely want to meet Oprah. Not only is she amazing, but she's met so many amazing people, and she has so many life experiences, not only that she's experienced, but she's talked to of all these different people, and it would just be awesome.
Amber, here's your impromptu question. Amber's impromptu question is, if Seattle Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll came to our community next week and you were his tour guide, what location would you take him to first and why?
You know, that's kind of a hard question. We have so many beautiful and fun, amazing places here in the valley to visit, but I definitely would want to take him to the Town Toyota Center. Right? You know, we could go ice skating together. Or maybe even go catch a late night concert, you know? Whatever he prefers, I guess. Considering he won the Super Bowl.
Thank you, Amber. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Amber Broadshed.